Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, that's pretty damn good. Is it just me, guys? I thought that's pretty nuts. Well, I guess we find out here. You can't say that's bad. Alright, send it. Yo, this damage is good! What do I kill here? Do I just kill Jesus? I can kill Luna here. I don't think Jesus ever beats frieren, so let's kill Luna. That's that 38k, right? I'm not crazy, right? That's that 38. Oh my god. Yeah, bro, okay. Holy shit. It's not the smart thing to do with the Ross here, but I'm just having fun, man. And now I still get the thing. That's crazy. I'm immune. Ross never beats me anymore. GG. Oh my god, that feels so good. I'm checking the timer, guys. You guys' 1 minute's coming up fast. Not falling for this trick again. Good, good, good. Somebody in chat is learning. I said I won't ban you. I didn't say none of my mods will do. I didn't say nothing about none of my... Oh my god! It just did 38,000 nat, bro! Wow! What is that? Oh, I love Epic 7, brother. This game is fucking amazing. Yeah, anyways. Nico knee? You can Nico knee these balls in your mouth. Haha!
Okay.
For the sake of my mission, I must destroy you.
Divine Vessel goes. Can you kick it to the Ailey, please? That'll be super helpful. Or the Ahmed. Good enough. The Lorina kind of resisted the pushback. Oh, I'm 200 ER. I'm 200 ER. We are Bing chilling, boys. All right, let's see how much this does. This Lorina unit's really good, man. I really didn't give Lorina enough respect. Wait, this Harsetti character is kind of toxic in lore, too. What's going on? Okay, I need the reenact to go. Okay. This. Okay, Maid goes. Oh, dude, okay, Unfading Memories is OP. Unfading Memories is fucking OP. Block. Nice, 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 nice. We're in it to win it, boys! Wow, 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 wow. We're so Barack. What if I just one-shot the Carmen here? Like, let's just finish her off, right? Yo, this Commander Lorina character is kind of good. That's actually really nuts. Alright, send it. Yo! This damage is good! Dude, this is so good. What the fuck? Guys, how many games of Boss, Maid, Empyrean, frieren have we played? I just realized this comp is like so juiced. I got a little emotional when I saw Maid Chloe, DJ Bizarre. Okay, let's see this damage. That's crazy. Okay, okay. I think he kills frieren here, though. Let's fly! So, it's kind of important we kill the scales here. Reason being, here's the reason, guys. My entire team gets combat readiness when he hits me. And, the scales is actually getting infinite turns. Dude, it healed the frieren to full! No wonder he just forfeits! It full healed the frieren! Oh, sheepball, guys! Oh, okay. So for everyone who's asking, oh, what do you think about Maid Chloe? I know you've only been playing her for 2 hours. That's what I think about Maid Chloe. So obviously, we came into today with the goal of playing Commander Lorina. This is like the #1 unit. Yesterday, we played a lot of Maid Chloe. Maid Chloe is clearly good. I don't have to explain to you guys how good Maid is. Commander Lorina is surprisingly nuts. But here's the problem. The warfare rule makes it so that in one of them, which is defense, where your opponent gets penetration resistance, so your pen set is fake, your S3 penetration is fake, everything is fake. She just doesn't hit very hard. She doesn't do very much. In those games, she needs to be able to counterattack in order to do anything at all, and it feels bad. In any other one, like weakening, she doesn't really care, because usually by the time you're done with like team imprints, and specifically if you're playing with Maid Chloe with like Unfading Memories or Shamadra Staff, you're good. You don't really care. In offense, obviously, it makes her into a beast. If you guys watched earlier, there was a match where we one-shotted a Genesis Ras with no attack buff from full HP. She's basically like a Genua with damage limit. She's nuts. So let's talk about the pros, right? The pros is she's a 3-star character. Really easy to get, right? Nobody's ever gonna not have Commander Lorina. The issue is the gear is, she's so gear intensive, because the difference between having and not having 200 ER is way too big. So she becomes really stat hungry. So this is a character that needs 1, 2, 3, 4 stats, right? 4 stat characters are super hard to roll. All the HP here, worthless. This HP doesn't do anything. Defense, might as well not be there. Is ER ring fake? That's a really good question. So the problem with ER ring, right? I'll just put one on for demonstration. Look at how much damage you lose. You lose 400 attack pretty much for free. It lets you move up your other gear, but still, right? This is a character that's super hard to gear. You almost don't want to play this character unless you can guarantee get Maid Chloe or Fallen Cecilia on your team. She's very reliant on being supported. She's a character with very well-defined strength, but also very well-defined weaknesses. In certain matchups, like Cleave, for example, if you counter, sometimes you will just win. You will just farm the cleavers. But in slower matches, like sometimes you'll just eat 8 attacks, not counter a single time, and then your damage limit would just wear out and you would die. That's always going to be a risk when you play counter-attack characters, right? It's the same thing when you play Setsuka, it's the same thing when you play Flan. So that's Commander Lorina. She was way better than I thought she was gonna be. Build for this character is Pipette Lance, so if you're new, you don't really get this, because this was the Overlord collab. So you probably have to play Sigret Scythe. I would say Sigret Scythe is the best. Golden Rose works too if you have one of those. And build-wise, like obviously Biss is counter Pen, but if you have to go like counter Torrent or whatever other set, counter Crit Chance, it's not the worst. Pen is just easily the best one. Play adaptively and adapt your own gear. You don't actually need 200 ER in order to activate all her runes. What you only need is like close enough, and then depending on your other team. So I was just showing chat this where, like for example, we're playing a lot of Empyrean, so you could just swap this over, and then you could like swap your FCC over, and then obviously if you're playing Maid Chloe imprints by itself should be enough, and then if not, then you always have Unfading Memories carrying that load for you. And of course, if you play with like a Christie in Guild War or Arena, it's always going to be a solid build. RTA, if you have the resistance warfare, she's always going to be able to hit. Let's talk about Maid Chloe. I think Maid Chloe is easily the winner of the buff patch alongside Unfading Memories. Maid Chloe just became so good. They didn't do that much to her. They did 2 things. They bumped up her healing, and they made it so that she, just like Fallen Cecilia, can reduce fixed damage incoming to your team. That is important. It's surprisingly good. There's also a third point that makes her good. Her attack buff is now defense buff, so she's a much better character for tank down teams. But the reason why she's actually really good is for no other reason. She's good against every single opener in the game. So if you think about stuff people play on first pick, right? Obviously, Lady of the Scales, one of her weaknesses, she gets stalled out, right? If you trade 1 for 1, her front unit takes way too much damage. So she could get stalled out. Renak, you reduce her fixed damage. Boss Arunka, you reduce her fixed damage. Fallen Cecilia, you're getting 1 each of reduced fixed damage, so the other person can't just drop every single fixed damage character on you. Peyra, you reduce her fixed damage. Empyrean Ilanav, you kind of create the dichotomy that if you have Maid, they have Empyrean. They cannot take FCC unless their Empyrean is not a tank, because otherwise they double up on tank, they lose. Maid Chloe has a surprisingly good matchup versus every single first pick in the game. It makes her first pickable, and I hope people don't find that out and they start just contesting Maid. Because if you can get Maid Chloe on 3rd pick, you're basically farming your opponent for free. There's so many ways for you to like use her to support frieren, use her to support Commander Lorina. You'd be able to farm all the Genesis Ross. Maid Chloe is so good right now. So if you guys can, make sure this video doesn't get any views. Make sure nobody learns about Maid Chloe and how flexible and usable she is. And I hope nobody clicks on the video. Don't like, don't comment, and don't subscribe if you want to see how to actually break the game. Maid Chloe is just too good. Build-wise though, counterattack set, immunity set. This is super simple for 2 reasons. Any characters that scale deals with taking turns, right? And if you run especially Unfading or Shamadra Staff Maid Chloe, it lets her passive go absolutely nuts. She just heals way too many times and heals way too fast. If you're playing Commander Lorina or frieren, you immediately heal those motherfuckers up to full HP. Her S1, if you counterattack, you have a chance to stun, which could push your entire team. This is just way too good to not put counter on. If you play a very specific style in standard and you need Maid Chloe to be like 220, 230 speed, understandable. I think you could put her on speed set, but immunity is super clutch because very specifically against Genesis Ras, immunity is super annoying. And if Genesis Ras ever gets any combat readiness via ML Payra, or maybe you hit their frieren, or maybe something like an Ahmed, can't pick this Chloe. This is easily, I think, the best character out of the entire patch. You could play her in every single frenzy. She's never bad, and she's also solid versus every single opener in the game. Okay, so Opsig, you guys definitely see the damage. If she gets a turn, she just goes insane, right? Really good versus FCC. Like, I don't think she's very good versus Empyrean. So this is a character you pick either super late into the draft when you know you can just ban an Empyrean Illinav, or you take Empyrean first like I do, and then you have a pretty good chance of being able to swing her because the other player is going to want to counter you with FCC, right? You want to each take one of the OP tanks. Problem with her is two folds. She's still really reliant on her defense penetration. Unless you're playing like an Ahmed build, which case you wouldn't be running my stat line. She's not very good into like warfare role defense, and she's definitely not that good into like Empyrean Illinav. Now, the thing I will give a special shout for is they made it so that within her exclusive equipment, the condition to trigger her extra turn is changed to if she crits instead of gets a kill. And that's pretty important because that means you can play her at top speed. So if you have like a really fast set of speed DPS gear, or what some people call RAN gear. So if you have a build like this and you could make up a couple of crit chance here or there, with even one speed imprint, she becomes really scary as an opener, and you could take her into any Fallen Cecilia or protection set knight, including Crimson Armin and including Empyrean Illinav, because if you play top speed, it no longer matters if she one-shots anything. You can just get the extra turn, get the attack buff, push them back, and enable your team. So there's a lot you can do with Opsig. I think this is probably going to be one of the characters where there's a lot of potential. You can find hidden really strong drafts with her. But for the moment, if you're kind of expecting to play her like you did, wow, I think we're in like season 17 or 18 today, guys. The last time she was really good was season 7 and season 8. So if you want to play her like in season 7 and season 8, you're playing her maybe like very, very occasionally into Fallen Cecilia drafts. It's Opsig. LQC actually got a really good buff, but she has one super glaring problem. It's just not her meta. If you guys watch the games right now, all of the best characters that you really care about one-shotting are like light units. Like if you want to one-shot a ML Luna, you want to one-shot Genesis Ross, you want to one-shot Lady of the Scales. There's so many characters she could be good against, but basically because the meta right now is very light unit dominant, it's super awkward, right? You can't really play her into Payra drafts because there's evasion everywhere. You can't really play her into Setska drafts because, well, if you miss your big S3 cooldown, eat ass. You're pretty much in a position where when she's good, she's too hard to play. When she's easy to play, there's no good matchup to hit because she's too narrow of a character. Even in like Harsetti teams, there's like Setska, there's a lot of disrupt. You don't know if you're going to get your turn chain off correctly. It's really hard to speed tune around her in Harsetti, so there's almost no good matchups for her right now. But give the game like 2 to 3 months, and if dark units take over the game again, I think she can be good. But right now, she feels just like the wrong version of Bystander Hwayoung. Yeah, and like Chad is saying, it's the reason why Bystander Hwayoung is so common. And even then, I'm not sure like Bystander Hwayoung is a hard winning pick. So Carrot is actually pretty solid as a character. I think I picked her like maybe once when we were testing frieren and they steal frieren away. This is a character they buffed her so she can strip more buffs and she can land a little bit more burns, maybe generate attack buff for herself. I would say if you are trying to play PvP as a new player and you are having a lot of issues with frieren, just take Carrot. Carrot's one of the few characters that is really good versus frieren. Just drop the S3, soul burn it, and then one tap the frieren. Oh yeah, and also, you know, pray you don't miss your burns. If you miss your burns, well, what can you do? The opponent's just more talented. Go next, right? I did not get to play her at all in RTA. Main reason being my build's just not very well put together for RTA, and she's just not enough. She doesn't do enough. If you think about drafting a knight in RTA, you're thinking about picking Fallen Cecilia for the reduce additional damage. You're thinking about picking Empyrean Illinav for the penetration resistance, those are like the two knights you're thinking about. And if it's not those two, you're thinking about picking Yulha to play with Lady of the Scales, or for the damage reflect. There are just way better knights to pick in general. If you're playing like a resistance draft, you might as well just build resistance on your other characters. Like Christie's best usage is still, to my knowledge, in Guild War, just because in RTA, you need your characters to be flexible and adaptable, and Christie as a tank is just not enough. She just doesn't do what you need her to do. I wouldn't say she's PvE specifically. I would mostly say you're picking her in Guild War. You're playing her in Guild War with stuff like Blue Arya, MLK Ron. Those are really good units to put together with Christie. Okay, I don't really have that many opinions on Leica, mainly just because I'm not a big Leica player. I mean, you guys probably tell from the gear in my opener. But I actually have a lot of other characters on high speed already. I play a lot of Renak, Ahmed, Lone Wolf Peyra, and Green Sid. Leica's just not within my skill set. I have no idea how to play her. So hopefully a different YouTuber could test it. KJ's a pretty big Leica enjoyer, so I'd recommend KJ for Green Leica if that's what you're really intend on finding out. Tempest Surin, we actually played only against one. I didn't get to pick Tempest Surin. The issue with Tempest Surin is she is good, but there are so many things in the game now. Like if you think about frieren, and if you think about strays, if you think about blue Kisei, most of the time you want to play Tempest Surin, it's because of the fact that she's a really good anti-cleave nuker. She kills cleavers really fast because she gets the combat readiness push, she gets a turn. But there are so many things that just chain turns together and then hit you in an AoE. It doesn't really like make sense to anti-cleave them with Tempest Surin. She just doesn't get the turn. Like those dudes get extra turns. They get enough combat readiness to chain 2 turns together. Judge Kisei is another good one. Tempest Surin just never can get her turn, so the buff just wasn't enough to make her good. Unlike Commander Lorina, the biggest issue with her is her damage limit is not like 30 something percent, it's 50%. So without mitigation, if they ban your mitigation, they just kill you in 2 hits. With mitigation, they'll kill you in 3. Whereas if your damage limit is like a 30% damage limit, like Lorina or Galililius, without mitigation, it takes 3 hits to kill you, and with mitigation, it takes 5, which is just, you can stall out your opponents for days and just bait out counterattacks. So the buff wasn't enough for Surin. Lastly, Fumir. Fumir has a really good buff. So the build with this one is you go 250 or 270 speed, you pick her in the Ahmed pipeline. And when you play Ahmed, you're looking to take your AU Fiend early, pick up frieren. So frieren gives her 2 stacks for free, so you only need like 3 colors total as far as your team goes. Actually, you only need 2 different ones. You could be all blue and all green units, and on her own turn, she would gain 1 focus, and you could start dropping bombs on them. Fumir is pretty solid. The issue with her is sometimes you're gonna run into this team when you're playing Ahmed Cleave that you just cannot debuff at all. Like they have Genesis Ross, they have Bihua, and you kind of get stuck playing Ahmed a little sometimes. But if you manage to correctly speed tune Ahmed into frieren, it is so much damage for an Ahmed comp. This character is pretty nuts, but you're never picking her past like 4th pick. That's like the highest position you could take her in, because they're gonna reply to you with Sea Phantom, they're gonna reply to you with like Solitaria, and if that happens, well, you're gonna need to ban one if they picks one. If they pick both, you're gonna need to be able to play like 3v 3.5. Draco Plate. So we already talked about Unfading Memories. That one's busted. Draco Plate, I think it's okay. It gives you a good amount of stats, right? It's insane for stat sticking, but the problem with warriors is warrior artifacts are just so contested. It's such a contested slot, right? If your character needs sustain, you're never gonna get off of Pipette, Golden Rose, or Sigret Scythe. If you need stat sticking, does this really beat Prayer of Solitude? If you need utility, there's no way this thing matches up to Sweet Miracle. So warrior artifacts is just too contested. It's solid if you have one from back in the days, but I wouldn't recommend anybody go like, whoa, it's 60% stats, that's crazy. It's just not like something you're super excited about. Ahmed Cleave tips. What tips do you need? I give Ahmed Cleave tips every day for the last 2 months. That's all I played for the last 2 months. Are evasion teams a thing? Yes. What are good ways to deal with multiple evade units? Run additional damage. I think evasion units just got way better this patch though, because additional damage get countered by 2 characters now. Use non-contact debuffs, Death Dealer Ray, Witch of the Mirror. Be lucky. That's really it. Like, you could draft correctly versus evasion teams, and you could draft a correct evasion team, but if you don't get lucky, which is what evasion team counts on at the end of the day, this is what your logs are gonna look look like. How do I cleave without Ahmed? Play a Rom Litica, I guess? Like that's still a playable cleave. It's just not as strong as Ahmed. Ahmed is the strongest cleave right now by far. Also, if you want Ahmed cleave tips, go watch my latest YouTube short. Penetration critless attacks can be good against evasion too. Yeah, so it really depends on which tanks you get. So if you consult the tier list that's in the Discord, you guys can tell which characters these are. And depending on the tanks that you get, you have different ways of dealing with them. But now Maid Chloe is like in the formula. She muddies the water a lot and evasion could be really hard to deal with. How fast is Ahmed fast? Go watch the Ahmed guide on YouTube. It tells you exactly what speed you need to be for each rank. Because I coach people of every rank. I know the rough speed of people in generally each rank. Would you suggest roll for Maid instead of the next ML5? No? Why would I ever suggest that? If you don't know, right? Right now we have a Maid banner. If you don't have Maid, a week before this date, they will tell you who the next ML5 is. And when they do that, you can make your decision on whether you want to roll for Maid or you want to roll for the next character. But as things go, I think Maid is really good. I'm like a little hesitant to put Maid into tier 0. She's a skill cap character. There are multiple ways to play her right. There's no like one good way to play her, but there are a lot of ways to play Maid wrong. So Maid is kind of hard to play. Like Boss Arunka. Like Boss Arunka is like, hey, me go bonk, right? If you want like supports that can cleanse, like Libra's way easier to play. Like this is a character every time you have the S3, you click your S3. SG proven track record. Every new ML5 is broken. Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? There was a stretch. It was like Dragon King Sharoon. People were like, wow, this character fucking blows. And then they moved into like Nadalon High School and it was like Bihua. And people were like, wow, this character fucking blows. And then like, it was Helly and Lua. We're like, okay, finally guys, we got a fucking Giga Juicer, right? And then people were crying on Stove and then she got buffed and then she got fucking Giga broken. I mean, think about it, guys. If you guys are a company and every time you release one of your super giga rare marquee characters, the player base is like, these characters are shit. Give us something broken. What are you gonna do? You just make all of them broken, right? Oh, Teiyu. Yeah, Teiyu is like not playable for like half the players, right? Like Teiyu is literally only played in one single playstyle, and so is Arya, right? People are like, wow, he's so cool, but why is he so garbage? Like, he's not even garbage. He's just, the way he works is so complicated and convoluted. He's hard to play. Same with Arya. Arya, you need to actually build around her. She's a build around character. You have to build around the Arya, but she's really good. KJ in a tournament got 90% win rate with the Arya. So these are good ass characters, but people are like, no, they suck. Okay, well, if they suck, have Lone Wolf Peyra. Have fucking Renak. Have Boss Arunka, Genesis Ross, and then have Lady of the Scales. Like, are you guys happy now? Every character's broken. Now you guys will summon for every character, right? The game goes through this literally every 2 years. If you've been around for 2 years, I don't say this often because I have a lot of criticisms for Smilegate. Let me say something, guys. I actually feel so bad for Smilegate when it comes to balancing because they would do this thing where they release 5 ML5s and they would all be fine for different playstyle. They would be niche. They wouldn't be super OP. People would bitch about them. Like Stove would bitch about it all day. So they would make like a stretch of really OP ML5s and then Stove would bitch about those again because they're like, wow, now I gotta summon for every single one. Like these guys chatting on Stove cannot pick a fucking lane, man. That's like the one time I'll say it. I feel bad for Smilegate. This happens every 2 years. I've been making content for 4 years now and I've seen 2 cycles of this. The last time this happened, we got something called the 7 Great Disasters. Smilegate was like, oh, so we don't like power creep. Got it. So they, for 9 months, they basically don't release any OP characters. Every character was mid or niche for 9 months. The game nearly fucking died. You guys remember those 9 months where Red Hua Young was like the last good character? Nobody summoned for shit. Those 9 to 10 months, everybody held every bookmark. You guys remember that? And they're like, oh, I thought we liked balance, guys. I thought we liked having a very consistent rotation of balanced characters. Nope. All right, have Lua, have Nockwall, right? What are the top evasion units to have? The newest ones. This is one of the newest ones. This is the newest one. This is almost a year old, but still pretty new as far as evasion characters go because she just got a facelift with Rapace. Here's the fact about evasion characters at the end of the day. If your evasion character cannot afford an immunity set, your evasion character sucks. Aiden needs the penetration set, Flan doesn't, and Setsuka doesn't. Is Renak a good first early pick with Maid Chloe buffs? It depends on how you play. If you're picking Renak to play her combos, she's still very good. If you pick Renak to just play her as an individual unit, with Maid, FCC, and Empyrean in the game, she's not going to get you as much mileage. Yeah, those are all of the buffed characters for this patch, and my thoughts on them. You can copy my build, you can copy my playstyle. If you need to see stats, should be able to find a link, get into the Discord. Link's in the description. Go check out the catalog in the Discord. I have a pretty in-depth guide on how to play each and every one of these characters, so go read them up there. If you thought the video was helpful, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see videos just like this one for future buff units and future new units. All right, okay, comment too. Really helps out the algorithm. All right, thanks. See ya.